Hello everybody, welcome to round 6 of Grand Prix Cleveland. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined in the booth by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Buehler. And Randy, I know we said we were going to start on Josh Utter-Leyton, but we're starting with Christian Calcano versus one of your fellow members of the Pro Tour Hall of Fame, Paul Rietzl. We have a sleeve issue on the back table with Josh Utter-Leyton's match, and someone is at the dealer table buying sleeves right now.
Oh, funny.
And you know, deck needs to be...
Give them time to re-sleeve it?
Well, yeah. So first play, Paul Rietzl plays Esper mana with all basics and plays a Sandstep Outcast as the first play game. Seen a lot of that card so far, just through a few rounds of play.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best commons in the set for sure.
Yeah, it leaves you a 2/1 body that on the ground that basically is going to trade with a morph. You know, it's a most common task. And then a 1/1 flyer in the air. And then Christian Calcano goes plain swamp and then plays a Sandstep Outcast of his own. So, one of the top Fate Reforged commons in draft. It has been very prominent here in sealed deck. To the shock of nobody, Paul Rietzl attacks in and the players just trade. But Paul Rietzl has another Sandstep Outcast.
He's got a high... Paul's deck looks pretty nice.
So is he Esper?
Yes.
Yesper?
I mean, I see an Opulent Palace. Maybe there's a green splash. Maybe not, though. A couple feet of resistance, high sentinels, suspension field.
So Calcano plays his fourth lane. He still played only plains and or swamps. Ooh, and that is not one of the more exciting cards to be playing. Lotus Eye Mystics doesn't return anything. It does have prowess though, and so it can rumble with some larger green creatures if need be. And it chooses not to trade with a Sandstep Outcast. And oh wow, look at that, Tasigur for Paul Rietzl. He delves away his Sandstep Outcast to pay for it, plays it on turn 5, and suddenly he's got a Tarmogoyf-like body on the battlefield.
Him attacking his Sandstep Outcast and hoping to trade it seems a little more even better of a play.
But Chris Calcano has Smite the Monstrous, takes out the Tasigur, gets a prowess trigger on his Lotus Eye Mystics, and gets in for 4.
Smite the Monstrous is another one of those cards that sometimes it's in the sideboard in draft, right? It's 4 mana, it's a little bit slow sometimes, but sealed deck, where everybody's playing every bomb they opened, you have more bombs and more answers in these decks, so Smite the Monstrous has gone from, you know, borderline to actively good.
Okay. Calcano cracks back. And a Sandblast from Paul Rietzl. And there's a Typhoid Rats for Calcano. He trades. He says, I gotta get your 2/1 out of the way. Puts his rat in the path. Now what is Calcano? Is he missing a color here?
He's mostly black-white. There's a small splash of red in his deck.
Oh, look at this. Treasure Cruise, Paul Rietzl, taps out, delves out, and draws 3 cards.
Yeah, the board looks pretty close. 1 Spirit Token to nothing, and 5 land to 5 land. But that Treasure Cruise definitely bodes well for Paul moving forward.
And then a Polluted Delta. You know, looking at Calcano's hand, I see a Reach of Shadows, some blue card that I'm not certain of. He's going to be delving himself here.
7?
Oh, it's a Gurmag Angler.
Sure.
Good that we've seen people try to play it in Standard. We've seen them try to play it in Modern. But, you know, really, it shines in 40-card decks. It's just
sealed
gigantic.
Decks in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sealed format is pretty interesting. There's so much synergy in all cons.
Yeah.
And yet throwing in that pack of Fate Reforged, or 2 packs and sealed, it's really turned it into a sort of, 3-color bombs and removal and card advantage. It's not a synergy format. It's very much a power format now. Threats and answers.
So here's a suspension field, takes down the Gurmag Angler. And, gains a life with his Tranquil Cove.
Another Smite the Monsters.
Yeah, it looks like a handful of removal. And maybe a blue card. Calcano. Rietzl just keeps playing land here. He says, until I say otherwise, this token is always attacking.
Just making sure he took one off his life.
Here's a Merciless Executioner.
Please, sir, may I have a Merciless Execution?
Yeah, so just edicts the token away.
Wow. Kind of that Sandstep Outcast got a Typhoid Rat and a Merciless Executioner.
Yeah, you get an idea of how good it is. Here comes a Mardu Woe Reaper. Yeah, Woe Reaper. Now this is starting to look more like the Paul Rietzl I know.
1 minute, 2 ones.
Yeah, I don't know about this drawing 8, 3 cards.
Turn 9, whatever this is.
Oh, look at that, the Abzan advantage from Christian Calcano. He is not going to get the bolster, but Paul Rietzl is going to have to sacrifice the suspension field.
Speaking of answers, Valorous Stance just
like nice
dispatches the giant 5/5.
Nice little dance back and forth there over. And that's exactly what you were talking about, right? Like, just like you get these pitched battles over one big card.
Yeah.
So there's an Einok Bondkin from Calcano.
Woe Reaper will, of course, just attack into that.
Nine mana in play for Paul Rietzl here. Nearly that many cards piled up in Calcano's hand. Oh, red and green now.
Yeah, it's both a small red splash and a small green splash. Abzan Charm, Mardu Charm, Arc Lightning.
Ticks up his Einok Bondkin. Takes 2 from the Woe Reaper.
It's like here's a forest, here's a
and that's a Adept. The
Misfire Adept?
Yeah, the Misfire Adept. Thank you. So Prow, a 3/3 with Prowess, and then whenever you play a non-creature spell, you can give another creature. You can give a creature fly. It's a minor turn.
Cool.
Don't even need to give it flying here.
Not with that first striker tapped.
So Crippling Chill is going to lock down the Einok Bondkin. It's a Prowess trigger. And the Prowess trigger is going to allow him to smite the Monstrous, the Misfire Adept. But we know,
maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, we know Paul Rietzl is holding Disdainful Stroke.
That's what I thought I saw. Seems like he used it here, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also get you even get another trigger on your Adept. You get in for 5, 6, 7 here. Calcano's going to fall to 2. And his creature's not going to untap this turn.
Now what? Paul's managed to stay on the front foot this whole match. Spirit token chipped away for a bunch of turns. He's never had a particularly giant monster. Well, Tarkir came down briefly. He died right away. Everything else has just been 1s and 2s and 3s.
So more for Calcano. Looks like it might have been a Sage-Eye Harrier.
Interesting.
But he wants to keep his mana open for Mardu Charm there.
Yeah, and he's just going to Mardu Charm before Paul gets the draw phase. Which does stabilize the board. No potential flying off prowess triggers. 2-1 versus a morph. I'm guessing.
And he gets on tap with the first striker next turn.
Next turn, yeah. I'm guessing Paul would attack here and force the trade. I mean, odds are that morph is a better creature than a Mardu Woe Reaper.
Oh, wait. Something's going on.
I mean, that's the debate. I mean, depending on what's in his hand. On board, I mean, it's always awkward to lose your only creature in play, especially when your opponent's at 2. But is that Woe Reaper getting in?
There's certainly a lot of things you can be scared of if that untaps. If that's, you don't want to let him untap and play Unmorph, for example, an Abzan Guide.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that's like the card that can get him back into
It may
this
just
game.
be that Paul's reviewing his graveyard and his exile zone, trying to figure out what his top decks are. Like if he can top deck a way to give it flying, for example.
Sure.
I mean, a Feat of Resistance can sort of make it unblockable, though it does not make it unblockable by a colorless morph. There's also a little bit of value to Paul in sort of pinning Christian on defense. Like Calcano is obliged to leave a blocker there. It's not that different from just trading them off, though. I don't know, I might have attacked there.
So in comes the first striker.
Sure.
Rietzl takes 3, and Calcano passes the turn back.
Yeah, bounce spell or removal spell is the other thing that can be good here. Or how about a flyer?
Abzan Sky Captain. And unmorph the Sage-Eye Harrier.
Yeah, so if Paul had attacked and forced Christian to trade, the Sky Captain would be unblockable here. Tricky spot, though. I mean, if he's got a decent number of removals.
Oh, look at that.
Boy.
Arc Lightning. Is Christian Calcano going to claw his way back into this game? Oh, but there's
Paul's
a Feat
got
of Resistance.
Interesting. Which way do you feat? He can wind up with the counters on the Woe Reaper if he wants to. So he can turn his Woe Reaper into a 5/4? Or he can save a 3/3 flyer versus a Sage-Eye Harrier.
5? Wow.
Yeah, 5/4 sounds better there, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, the flyer's not getting through, so you kind of want the 5/4, and that's what he does. He's going to Feat of Resistance to protect his Woe Reaper. Sky Captain's going to die. That part of the spell will still resolve.
Right. Yeah, if Paul was holding that feat, then his non-attack with the Woe Reaper makes more sense. It's just maybe hoping Calcano will flip it, and or hoping Calcano will leave only a colored blocker back on defense.
Not sure what the question is here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Protection
Works
from red,
pretty much the way we got.
and picks up the 2 counters from the Sky Captain.
So it's 5/4. It's taking no damage. And a morph from Calcano.
Wow. Just leaves everybody on defense. Does give him a gang block. Paul top decks of planes. Not what he really wanted.
He can double block, right, with his Bondkin and the Sage-Eye Harrier. He's only going to lose one of them.
Right, well, sure. Well, I mean, the morph has summoning sickness, so couldn't attack with the morph.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
A lot of lands for Paul. He's flooded out a bit here. Feels like Christian's maybe up a spell or two.
It looks like this is all going to change for Calcano. That's Mastery of the Unseen.
Jeez.
One of the super game-breaking bombs you could get in Fate Reforged.
Absolutely. 4 mana to manifest a creature, and whenever you flip a face-down creature face up, gain life equal to the number of creatures you control.
So right now, if he flips up his morph, that's 3 life. Suddenly he goes from 2 to 5.
Yeah, now Woe Reaper's like, all right,
yeah,
I'm now willing to trade this off. I'll trade it for any 2 of your creatures, please.
And that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's the double block.
Yep, he's like, that's my block.
If Christian can flip the morph, he'll probably do that pre-combat damage. Not clear he'll have enough mana to, though.
Playing Reality Shift? Is that the blue card in his hand? So it looks like he's going to put
Sage-Eye Harrier in the front.
Yeah, he's going to put the flyer in front.
Oh,
another
the second
feat of
feat.
resistance. Wow. So it only kills the Sage-Eye Harrier anyway.
Huh. Paul just valued getting the flyer off the table, I guess?
Yeah.
No flip from Calcano, so I guess that morph is more expensive than 4.
Yeah, instead he's going to manifest.
Right.
Oof. See another powerful card in Calcano's hand. It looks like he's holding a Kolagon.
Oh my.
He's not quite at 2 manifests a turn yet. I think he's 1 mana away.
Yep. Yeah, it really doesn't feel like Paul's
Right, so starts counting libraries.
No, I think that's just how many spells do I have. His deck is so threat dense right now. He's the one that treasure cruised, and yet Calcano has more spells somehow.
All right.
I mean, I don't think that's, maybe that was a decking count. But no, I mean, Paul knows he's the one that's going to get decked, so I think it was more odds calculation. Like, for example, a threat like High Sentinels of Erishan. What are his odds of drawing High Sentinels of Erishan? Well,
by you saying that, I think it's pretty good. There you go.
1 in 1.
Wow. So there is High Sentinels of Erishan.
With what, 2 activations up?
Yes, right. 2 activations up the turn he cast it. Just 12 mana in play. In
Crunching
comes
over
the 5/4.
with the Woe Reaper.
Oh, sorry. The 6/5.
Up to 6/5, yeah. Can't forget this. 2 feats and a Sky Captain have all gone into this 1 Savannah Lion.
Okay, so it's a double block from Calcano.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the mana to flip the morph, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So Paul's got to decide what order to put them in, and he's like, I don't care what that morph is. I can kill it with a 6/5. Put it in front.
But High Sentinels can put 2 counters.
What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bonkin. So up to 8 power.
And gain 3 life.
And gain 3 life before damage, yeah. Yeah, Paul was content with 1 counter. He is going to lose the Woe Reaper here, but he's going to take both creatures down with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
5, 6. Yeah, he can't get 2 more counters. He needed another trick from his hand to straight win the combat. I think he'll settle for the 2 for 1.
Yeah, that Woe Reaper did hard work.
Definitely.
And the Sentinels
counter on the High
counter.
Sentinels.
So, yep.
Calcano says...
Yeah, Reach of Shadows. That's been sitting in Calcano's hand since his opening draw, pretty much. Just waiting for the big bomby target to hit it with.
Paul was hellbent, right? No cards in hand?
Yeah.
Bonkin off the top. It's a giant pile of land.
Here comes Big Rots. The Rot Father. Rotting Mastodon? Is it Kolagon? Oh, it is Kolagon. Okay. And he's going to dash it. Okay.
He's only got 3 mana. Does he have a land for manifest, or is he down to 1 blocker? So anything that clears that blocker out of the way.
Well, he's up to 5.
Oh, he's up to
now.
5. He's up to 5, of course. Is he going to attack, trade with the manifest, or outlast?
No, I think he's
he's
just dead in the air. So.
Yep.
Nope. He is going to outlast.
How about another dragon attack?
How many of those can he draw?
Oh,
Whisk away. Buys himself a turn, puts it on top. At the end of the land, he can manifest it back into play.
Oh, that's funny. Ball takes a peek. You see, yeah, you attack. First strike in the manifest. Calcano is not interested in taking the damage.
No,
he's just going to chump block. And you have another answer, Paul?
There's the Colligan. Yeah, that's game.
That is game. Calcano won that game? Remember when he was at 2?
Yes. And it's kind of funny. There was a pretty pivotal turn in there where that Woe Reaper could have just traded with a creature.
Yeah, it was the morph that turned out to be a Sage-Eye Harrier.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how. So we're mired deep into game 1 here with Raptor and
this is
Mackl.
So and you said.
Is that a Keru Spell Snatcher with a Tasigur hanging around its neck?
It is. Yes, it is.
We've just recreated the art from the new Silumgar. Spellcatcher is wearing Tasigur. I love it.
I don't know how much longer that's going to be true. And by the way, there's a treasure cruise in Josh Utter-Leyton's graveyard.
Not a lot of life points between these guys.
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, that was left over from last
Oh,
game.
okay.
Josh looks a lot safer against that Archer's Parapet now that he's on 12 instead of 3.
And he's holding Pyrotechnics here. His hand looks like it's quite good. As it should be after you resolve the Treasure Cruise. The last spell in his graveyard. Looks like he also has an Outpost Siege.
Jeez.
Goblin Heel Cutter with dash. Attack with everybody, or almost everybody. Leaves his rat back. Valentin Mackl goes to 7 from the attack. Blocks the Heel Cutter with the Archer's Parapet. The manifest creature was not able to block. Looks like that was put into play with a Foremost Nurturing.
Just not interested in playing Tasigur. It's pretty hilarious.
So Pyrotechnics 1 or 2 to Archer's Parapet and the rest to you.
Sure. Well, ping for 1 on the way out. But Josh is at 2. Was it 3?
Okay, getting life totals updated, and then Tasigur makes an exciting appearance. Like, all right, I'll play Tasigur now. Picks up his Goblin Heel Cutter, and that should be enough for Valentin Mackl to pick up his cards. Shows us his face-down suspension field. Is that a Witness of the Ages face down for Josh Utter-Leyton?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Pretty happy with that. Deck looks like it's full of power. That's what you want.
I guess the non-color morph is better than the off-color morph if you're stretched for playables.
Sure. I'm still thinking about that Paul Rietzl game.
Yeah.
That Woe Reaper, if it had traded for Sage Harrier, then it would not have been around to pick up the counters from the Arc Lightning, but Feat of Resistance could have defended the flyer.
Correct.
Like, Paul wins that game if he goes down that line, doesn't he?
I think he does.
Feat of Resistance saves the flyer, and there's no flying blocker.
He had 2 Feat of Resistances, too, over the course of the rest of the game.
Right. And he definitely had one on the next turn for the Arc Lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wins with a 3/3 flyer if he attacks in with the Woe Reaper.
Yeah, I wonder if he had just drew the flyer that turn, or I guess he probably just drew it the turn he played it. Probably didn't have another creature.
Sky Captain went straight from the top of the deck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're holding feat of resistance, don't you, and your opponent's at 2, do you really want to attack in with your only creature and have it die in combat?
To a colorless creature.
To a colorless creature, right. That's, I mean, holding feat of resistance, I totally get why he didn't make the attack.
Yeah.
But like, if he just hadn't been holding feat of resistance, or crazy game. It was right on the edge there. But
I mean, the thing to me that I would have been scared about, and I'd love to ask Paul about after the match, is just Abzan Guide, right? Like the Abzan Guide mana was all there. There was green, black, and white mana that he could have used on, and 6 lands at least. So he could have unmorphed an Abzan Guide, which would have had a similar effect on the game. All right. Wow. So turn 2 Mastery of the Unseen for Christian Calcano this time. 3 straight gain lands for Paul Rietzl.
That Master of the Unseen is the card that allowed Calcano to come back.
Oh, absolutely. That 3 life, he only gained 3 life off of it, only
manifested once
Manifested once.
Maybe.
Here comes a Sandstep Outcast.
Turn 4, not quite as exciting.
Yeah. With 3 gain lands, that's pretty exciting. And there is land number 4 for Master of the Unseen. Calcano's going to play a guy, manifest a guy, take a look and decides, no, I'm not. I think he just decided not going to block.
Wow.
He's like, oh, I like this one. So Dragon Bell Monk for Rietzl, and Calcano's suddenly under a lot of quick pressure here.
Paul does have feat of resistance in his hand. So Dragon Bell Monk can potentially eat that manifest.
Yeah, Calcano just says go.
I assume Paul will be pretty aggressive with his attacks here. Having an instant can trigger prowess. Having
you assume Paul will be pretty aggressive with his attacks here, there, everywhere.
Those other times. Yeah.
I mean, so he sends in for 5. And Calcano he's going to take it. He's not even making a guy here. Maybe choosing to, Jeskai Sage. End of turn, manifest another guy. Plays another land. We saw a number of a third morph, or a third face-down creature. This one a morph for Calcano.
Spends 3 of his 6 mana on a morph.
Sounds like he's holding a charm of some kind.
It sure feels he must have plans for those other 3 mana, or he would have just manifested again, waited to draw a land. Play more for 4 up.
All right, in with the team, says Paul Rietzl.
I don't know how you're supposed to block here.
You've anticipated my question.
I mean, you're supposed to block. I think he has to line some blocks up, especially. But I mean, this is one of those attacks where both players know the other guy's got a trick, right? Paul's attacking in because he's got feat of resistance. He feels like he can defend himself. On board, now, right, Christian makes a block that manifests in front of Dragon Bell Monk, sort of forces Paul to react, make the first move. Calcano figures, okay, he must have a charm there.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining it's not a charm.
But yeah, so much hidden information in this attack. Manifest, morph, 3 untapped mana versus 6 untapped mana.
It looks like Rietzl has multiple plays. He's going to be able to actually have his feat of resistance be the last spell cast.
Interesting.
So Valor Stance makes a Sandstep Outcast indestructible. It triggers prowess on the Jeskai Sage and the Dragon Bell Monk.
Yeah, so now it's win the fight, trade. Oh, it's Master of Pearls? And because It was Manifested Master of Pearls.
Oh my gosh.
That is a blowout. Now you can flip it over for the
converted mana cost.
Converted mana cost instead of the morph cost. Absolutely. There's very little that you're happier to manifest than a Master of Pearls. Such a gigantic blowout. Everybody gets +2/+2, and it only costs 2 mana for Calcano to do that.
Right. So now everything's a 4/4 here.
Which what? The Sandstep Outcast, Outcast is still indestructible, but the Dragon Bell Monk is
a
now
3/3.
Losing the fight.
And the Jeskai Sage is a 2/2. And it's also losing the fight, but it'll replace itself with a new card.
And unfortunately for Paul, those are colorless creatures. The Morph and the Manifest, like what he wants to do here is feed a resistance to win both fights, or at least trade and keep a guy. Unfortunately, because there's no color for him to choose, Feat of Resistance becomes a trade in a trade.
Well, he can go 5/5 on the Dragon Bell Monk with the Feat of Resistance.
But then he loses to the Morph. Then the Morph.
No, he can make his guy a 5/5. He gets another prowess trigger, and he gets the +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, then he beats up the Manifest, and Jeskai Sage is a 3/3 and loses the fight to the 4/4
But he's gonna get
two trades or a win and a loss.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to take 2 trades instead of a win and a loss. And if there was a color that he could pick, he could get a win and a trade.
Right.
But with no color to pick, he basically gets 2 trades.
So his Sandstep Outcast is going to live. His Dragon Bell Monk's going to trade with the Manifest. His Jeskai Sage is going to trade with the Morph, and he's going to draw a card. So not a
catastrophe, but.
Yeah. And he's going to play a Tassiger at the end of all of that. He played 3 spells that turn.
Wow.
He played 3 spells that turn.
That was a huge tempo swing. And you know what? All those trades feel a lot better when it gives you Exaxes to delve out Tassiger. Yeah, it was Exaxes on the delve cost. Crazy. Man, I thought Calcano with the 2 mana to flip over Master of Pearls. But Paul was
the 2 cheap tricks really,
2 cheap tricks and a Tassiger.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 cheap tricks, which is sort of one more than Calcano was hoping for.
Right.
Basically left the board stable, where Calcano's the one who has Mastery of the Unseen.
All right, so Smite the Monstrous kills Tassiger.
So it's still edge Calcano. I mean, it's 2 power to 3 power, but Mastery of the Unseen.
And a Merciless Executioner.
Here's a Merciless Executioner. Jeez. To kill a Spirit token or a 2/1? Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's mana efficient.
Yeah, Calcano decides to get rid of his Master of Pearls.
You'd rather have a 3/1 than a 2/2.
It's funny. I wonder if there's any chance that Calcano plays a card, beautiful return of card that's not super good in.
Face up, Bunnyback Brigade.
Wow, I got that Merciless Executioner in there right on time.
I mean, half a Sandstep Outcast is not that much better than a Goblin token.
Well,
it's better. All right, Paul is attacking with the Flyer and the 2/2. So he's willing to trade Pony back for either Executioner or a Manifest.
And then he's going to make 2 Manifests at the end of the turn.
That is Calcano's plan.
Oh, but an Arc Fiend of Depravity draws another Smite the Monstrous.
Smites.
But disdainful stroke from Paul Rietzl. He's out of cards, he's out of mana. But
whatever. He's got an Archfiend of Depravity, and he defended it from Smite the Monstrous.
Wow.
This whole match has been great. Is that Abzan Charm for it? Is that the last card for Calcano?
Calcano still has 1 card in hand somehow.
Man, Paul has had multiple bombs, lots of tricks.
Smite, and there's an Arc Lightning. There's a Gurmag Angler.
Yeah.
And Chris Calcano still has the ability to manifest a creature at the end of this turn.
I mean, a lot of what this has come down to is Master of the Unseen.
Yeah.
Paul's had the ability to interact with everything that Calcano's done, except he just has no answer to Master of the Unseen.
Calcano falls to 12.
And Paul's been forced to try
manifests a guy.
1-for-1 with the 2/2s.
It gets doused and gloomed.
Such a losing fight for Paul.
Yep, and Calcano's just going to play every land.
Yeah, of course.
Falls to 11 from the 1/1 flyer. Here comes Mistfire Adept.
Okay.
A manifest, another manifest from Calcano. In comes the Angler. Rietzl goes to 13.
Yeah, he's
land number 10 for Calcano.
He's got to hope he can attack with enough flyers, triggering off the Adept, and that Calcano doesn't manifest anything that he can turn over.
Yeah.
It's like Calcano.
A 1 or a 2, like a Disowned Ancestor manifested is a nightmare here.
Yeah.
Right, because you manifest twice and flip up a 2-drop or a 1-drop. So manifest. Yeah, getting that Archfiend of Depravity dead was pretty important. And there's a 2-drop.
Oh, there's the 2-drop.
Gain 5.
That should just about do it here. You're right, Paul did have a way to interact with Master of the Unseen with the Archfiend.
Yeah.
And he defended it from the first attempt to kill it. But not the second.
Boom. In comes Gurmag Angler. It's going to eat a Sandblast, but
yeah, 1
the
for 1
damage has been done.
Yeah, these 1-for-1 trades are buying Paul time, but they're not getting him ahead.
No, Calcano's going to add 2 more creatures to his board next turn. While taking 1 in the air. Yeah, trying to deplete all the manifest tokens in the feature match area. There's a suspension field for the Mistfire Adept. And
time to turn them all sideways.
Send everyone in. Paul Rietzl extends it. Christian Calcano, 6-0. Master of the Unseen. Certifiable bomb.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we saw him come back from 2 with that card in game 1.
Yeah.
Which was pretty spectacular. And Paul, I mean, you know, it's not like Paul Rietzl didn't play multiple bombs that game.
True story.
He defended his creatures, had 2 mana up, played a Tasker, it died. Played an Archfiend of Depravity, protected it with Disdainful Stroke, and then it died.
Calcano's deck looked great.
Yeah, both the decks look great.
Both of those decks look great. Yeah, I would be happy with either one of those decks.
Okay, and we're here in time for game 3, just underway, between Josh Utter-Leyton and Valentin Mackl. Valentin Mackl plays a Mardu Skull Punter. That's when you don't get a card.
Skull Punter?
Yeah, that's when you don't get a card.
I like it.
No raid trigger, just plays it on turn 2.
Often the right play when you have nothing else to do on turn 2.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work out great against Bloodfire Mentor.
No, Bloodfire Mentor. You were playing that card last night. How do you like that card?
It's okay. Like when you have, it's okay. I don't love it.
It seems better in sealed certainly than it is in draft.
It's all about the looting ability. Like if your deck wants to live in the late game anyway, having the ability to loot away your extra lands is great. I mean, it's obviously terrible in anything aggressive.
Right.
But you know, if your deck is bombs and you know you've got maybe 18 lands, maybe there's a banner in there or something.
So Valentin Mackl just runs his guy in there. Whoa. A little bit of a tremor. Bounces off the Bloodfire Mentor, plays a morph. Josh Utter-Leyton hard casts Vault Breaker. So he's got his own. He's got 2 looters going now. Double looter action.
Sure.
How do you like Vault Breaker in general?
I don't mind it. It's better than Bloodfire Mentor.
Formless Nurturing for Valentin Mackl. And Bash sends both his guys into the red zone. So Bloodfire Mentor blocks the Skull Hunter. The morph gets through unblocked. Pyrotechnics for Josh Utter-Leyton.
It's a good card.
So you can kill the Skull Hunter, the 3/3.
Right.
And get in for 4 with his Vault Breaker and dig a card deeper into his library. I imagine that's what he'll do.
Yep. What do we get?
And in.
Crunch.
Discards a land, draws a new card. Looks like it was a spell. So yay, if you're Josh. And the Mentor's still holding strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely a card that got better with Fate Reforged coming out, just because the format got a little grindier. It's a little more about bombs and answers and card drawing.
Speaking of bombs, one of the common bomb, the Gurmag Angler.
Has that guy been promoted all the way up to bomb status?
I think common bomb in sealed he seems fantastic.
It's very good. Yeah, 5/5 certainly big enough to attack through the Mentor. Battle Brawler, that guy's awesome.
So 3/2 first strike, as long as you control a red or a white creature, and then a morph for Josh. You can see how these games have gone more slowly than the matches at the other tables. So the Formless Nurtured creature, looks like that was a Abzan Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Which would have been quite the game breaker had that been, if he'd been able to flip that up.
Agreed. He and the Gurmag Angler are friends?
Yeah, very good friends. They go for like Pinkberry together. Here comes the Angler. Josh Utter-Leyton says no blocks. And a Feral Krushak. Lots of 5s.
Don't vanilla 5-power creatures are fine, but shouldn't they lose to the bomb-filled deck with like Mentors and Vault Breakers and whatnot? It feels like Josh.
I mean, he can certainly send his Vault Breaker in here, right? He gets to go card for card on it and loot. It's going to trade with one of those two, right?
Right.
He's got a land that he'd probably like to ditch here.
It's interesting how Valentin's got his deck put together. I mean, he hasn't shown us true bombs.
No.
But he's shown us 5/5, 5/4. Maybe that's just good in this sealed.
Yeah, I mean,
Feral Krushak, not a high draft pick.
No, but we've seen a lot of actually like low right of the Serpent.
Yeah.
Takes down the Angler.
Yeah, I mean, you have time. Assuming, if you have, as long as your curve's not awful, you're going to have time to play your Feral Krushaks and your Gurmag Anglers, and your opponent, they're going to be bigger than anything your opponent has. So as long as you can kill their rare or mythic whatever bomb they had, Feral Krushaks can get some work done.
There's a morph coming in, maybe not. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Gotta play a land first.
Is it a Willie Locks It On?
It is.
It's always Willie Locks It On. That's how I knew. Yeah, lots of things you want to kill with your big removal spell in Valentin Mackl's deck. Like everything he's played.
Right.
Angler, Willie Locks It On. Cards that are hard to deal with one card.
Right.
And demand being dealt with. Yeah, really, like Josh does not want to have to double block anything here. All right. Oh, Brutal Horde Chief.
That's a card.
That is most definitely a card. Wow. Brutal Horde Chief and play a Dismal Backwater to gain a life. Can you kill me with these two? Oh, but a suspension field.
Yeah. I was going to say, Valentin hasn't really been forced to show us much removal yet.
No.
He's just been summoning giant monsters and attacking with them. He's got an Abzan Charm in his deck. He's got the suspension field.
It looks like he also has a Dousing Gloom if he needs it.
Does have multiples in his list.
So, yep, suspension field takes down the Horde Chief.
He's got to hunt the wing.
Dousing Gloom takes down the Vault Breaker. And
Battle
we're going to rumble in for 11.
No longer a 3-power Battle Brawler either. Do you have to like double block a Crew Shock? I don't know what the morph is, obviously. But I mean, that's 11 damage. Treason removal. Still a good strategy after all these years.
Right, yeah, Valentin Mackl's like playing Ice Age Sealed.
Pretty much. Creatures are slightly bigger, maybe slightly cheaper. Scaled Worm costs 6 now instead of 8 or whatever it was.
So, yeah, Josh Utter-Leyton's thinking about this blocker step. Yeah, he's going to double block the Feral Crew Shock. And it was the Kara Spell Snatcher and Battle Brawler. That Feral Crew Shock is going back.
Josh is empty-handed, right?
Hanging out and talking about that story.
Needs an answer to Willy Loxodon, either that card or the next one.
Yeah, he has 2 turns here.
Well,
sort of.
Sort of. He has 1 more turn.
Here comes turn 1. Attack for 6. Utter-Leyton goes to 2. Valentin says, I don't need to play anything. There's Bitter Revelation, obviously.
Wallet 2?
Yeah. Casts it, extends
Takes
the hand.
matters into his own hands.
Valentin Mackl 6-0.
Wow.
Needs 1 more win to secure yet another day 2.
Of course. His deck does not seem to bomb me as either, which is interesting, right?
What do you?
He's got the Tassiger.
Sure.
We saw Spell Snatcher wearing around his neck.
Yeah. We do have an opportunity to watch Ben Friedman here versus Reid Duke. We can sort of turbo this up.
He's playing a Shamanic Revelation with Valentin Mackl, but I wouldn't call that a true bomb.
Yeah. So Mordu Woe Reaper for Reid Duke, followed up by a turn 3 Sandstep Outcast.
It's a nice curve.
Okay. Gore Swine for Ben Friedman.
Turn them all sideways. Let him trade, whatever.
Oh, wow, no trades.
Okay, even better.
Was a Goblin Heel Cutter.
Oh no, Mirage of Boulders.
Oh boy.
3 for 1 use, sort of. It's really just a 2 for 1. Feels like a 3 for 1. Though.
It does feel that way. Vault Breaker comes in, loots a card.
Sandblast goes away.
Also hits for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no white in sight for. Oh no, there's a Scoured Barrens. There's white.
Yeah, I just don't think Reid wants to be spending his mana attacking. He's not as interested in leaving up Sandblast.
He also doesn't have a ton of mana here to work with.
There's a pair of 4-power creatures on the other side.
Yeah. Right, Alpine Grizzly joined the Gore Swine.
Probably needs to trade here, doesn't he? Can Reid afford to just take 8?
Well, the thing is, he can crack for 7 next turn. He's done a substantial amount of damage already this game.
This race feels like it's not going to take very long one way or the other. Reid takes it. Ben can't have much blocking in his future. Hey, I wish I knew his life total.
So 8, he took 4, 12. So I believe Ben is at, oh my gosh.
Flame Rush Rider.
Yes.
Wow. All dash, all the time.
Dashes into Flame Rush Rider, makes a second Goblin Heel Cutter, and gets in for 9.
Nice. Reid Duke, ladies and gentlemen.
Flame Rush Rider is a card that doesn't get enough respect. It is a sweet, sweet card.
Sometimes.
So Wetland Sandbar for Reid Duke. Ben Friedman's at 22 when he plays a Frontier Mastodon.
the saddest of Mastodons. Not only does it not get a counter, but there's a 2/1 over there. It's like, I don't want to trade for that. I'm supposed to be a 4/3.
He likes to tussle.
Island, island, island for Reid.
There's a Dousing Gloom for the Wetland Sandbar. It's going to get Force Awayed.
Wow. Yeah, Reid is color screwed and knows that he can't afford to just take Mastodon beats.
And Morph, and no play for, no attack from Ben Friedman. He's not willing to, decided he's got better plans for his Mastodon.
Yeah, but if he's got a trick, fair enough. But I mean, I wouldn't be that sad to trade off here. I mean, your opponent is color screwed. You want to beat them up before they draw out of it, right? Yeah, I would
long shot squad, and now he's settled in to just develop his board. Gorswine for Reid Duke, which makes sense with things like Flame Rush Rider and Goblin Heel Cutter.
And 5 mana, and the Morph goes in alongside the long shot squad.
So Gorswine's going to get in the way of the long shot squad. Pine Walker's going to untap and go, nah.
Reid's going to go, can I draw something?
Ooh, Scaldkin.
Maybe some mana?
Tormenting Voice digs 2 cards deep for Friedman.
Oh, jeez.
And Savage Punch takes down the Scaldkin.
He's still not willing to trade Mastodon for Wetland Sandbar.
Yeah, I guess not.
If that's your attack, why don't you punch?
Why wouldn't you? I think he realized he would have.
It would have been a trade that
he wanted to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, Elite Scale Guard. Get in. Tap your Sandbar. If you want to block, you got to use your Average Surveyor, which is bounce the Pine Walker. Shu Yun and Jeskai Sage add to the board for Reid Duke. But the Elite Scale Guard's ability is just a little too brutal there for him.
On to game 3.
And we're underway. 21 for Reid Duke, 22 when we pick it up, 18 when we pick it up.
So much dashing
for Ben Friedman. And there's the Frontier Mastodon again. Gorswine for Reid Duke. Long Shot Squad.
Now, you just turned Gorswine sideways here? Are you just willing to trade it for whatever, or
yeah, you might even
got like heel cutter shenanigans?
I think he's just gonna Vault Breaker, take the opportunity to loot away a Scaldkin. If you're wondering why it's in his deck,
to be looted away. It is a card. That's very exciting.
Yeah, and then trades the Gorswine with the Mastodon. There's a Pine Walker just played face up.
Sure. It's big.
Flame Rush Rider, just cast.
Savage Punch.
Oh, and Vault Breaker of his own. Wow, that's a huge attack. Huge attack from Ben Friedman. I don't know what Reid Duke can have here. All right. Delays the inevitable. Oh, there's an Aven Surveyor, but a Goblin Heel Cutter comes down. No blocks for Reid Duke.
Loss
and Ben Friedman wins the match.